She was about to get a second chance, until she opened her mouth. The courtroom was bathed in the soft golden glow of early winter morning light, dust motes dancing above polished wooden benches. The air was heavy but quiet, punctuated only by the distant hum of the heating system. Everyone sensed that a story of mercy, justice, and human frailty was about to unfold. Judge Frank Caprio sat behind the bench, his warm eyes scanning the room, ready to hear each soul who stepped before him. "Your Honor," an elderly man began, his voice trembling, I wasn't trying to break the law. I just didn't see the parking sign. My eyesight, it's not what it used to be." Frank leaned forward, nodding slowly. "Take your time, sir. We'll work through this." The courtroom held its breath. Officers straightened, spectators quieted, and even the murmurs of the gallery faded. This was a man who had survived decades and seen more hardship than most could imagine, yet he stood humbly before the court. "My son passed away last year," the man added softly, eyes glistening. "I go for walks early to clear my head." Frank's expression softened further. "I'm very sorry for your loss. We'll get this sorted." He flipped through the ticket details. "It was issued at 5:12 a.m. Why were you out so early?" The man gave a small, embarrassed smile. "Couldn't sleep, Your Honor, just walking." The courtroom sighed collectively, touched by his quiet dignity. Patricia Lennox, standing near the back with arms crossed and gums snapping audibly, seemed irritated by the attention. She muttered under her breath, loud enough for some to hear, "Here we go again." Another sob story. Judge Caprio's eyes flicked toward her, a calm warning in his gaze. "I'm going to bring someone up to clarify a point of law," Frank announced. "My son, David." Caprio will step in briefly to assist. A ripple of surprise ran through the courtroom as David approached, briefcase in hand. "Dad," he whispered. "I need you to explain a legal nuance," Frank said warmly. "Help me make sure justice is delivered with respect." The veteran exhaled, relief written across his face. Tricia groaned audibly, rolling her eyes. The narrator's voice echoed softly, "Mercy is a door, but attitude decides whether it stays open." David spoke clearly, walking through the law with patient detail. The veteran listened intently, a tear forming in his eye as Frank finally announced, "Based on the circumstances and with gratitude for your service, this ticket is dismissed. You are free to go." Applause rose quietly but genuinely. The veteran placed a hand on Frank's shoulder, whispering, "Thank you, son." "Take care of yourself," Frank said with a smile. Then Tricia stepped forward. The room's energy shifted instantly. "State your name," Frank said, keeping his tone even. "Tricia Lennox," she snapped. "You are contesting 3 parking tickets and a failure to stop violation, correct?" "Yep," she said, popping her gum with exaggerated annoyance. Frank leaned slightly forward. "Explain the circumstances, please." Tricia sighed dramatically. "None of this is my fault. The parking signs are confusing. The officer exaggerates everything. It's ridiculous." "Exaggerates," Frank repeated. "Yes, they always exaggerate. Everyone knows it." Frank's voice stayed calm. "We deal in responsibility, not excuses." "Responsibility goes both ways," she said, folding her arms. David's eyebrows shot up, and Frank's patience, though immense, began to thin. "Tell me about the first ticket," Frank continued. "I was late for work," she said sharply. "My boss doesn't care about personal issues. I had a stressful morning." "I understand," Frank said gently, "but the sign." "The sign was covered by a tree. It's not my fault." "Did you take a photo?" Frank asked quietly. "No," she said, rolling her eyes, "but that doesn't mean I'm lying." The courtroom murmured. David shook his head slightly. Frank's expression became more serious. For the second ticket, she claimed her sunglasses were dirty. The third, she blamed emotional distress from social media, the stop sign violation. I did stop, just not dramatically like the officer wanted. Frank leaned back, trying to maintain calm. Ms. Lennox, people come into this courtroom every day with real struggles. You just witnessed an elderly veteran lose a child and walk humbly here. Do you see how he accepted responsibility? Sad stories don't change rules, she muttered. Frank's warm expression faltered. I was prepared to show you mercy, but mercy requires humility. She huffed. I don't need mercy, I need fairness. You've had fair treatment, Frank said slowly, voice firm. What you haven't shown is accountability. Every explanation blamed someone else. Because it wasn't me. Frank shook his head. Life doesn't work that way. He paused, letting the weight of his words settle. That veteran didn't blame the city. He didn't blame his niece. He didn't blame grief or age or circumstance. He told the truth and accepted responsibility. You have refused to do the same. David added gently, and your attitude, interrupting, rolling your eyes, dismissing everyone around you, has squandered any chance for leniency. Frank leaned forward, voice low but commanding. I was ready to show mercy. That mercy is now withdrawn. All fines and violations will stand. Gasps echoed through the courtroom. This is unfair, Tricia began, but Frank raised a hand. Do not speak. His voice was firm, disappointed but unwavering. I've given you every chance to show respect. You chose not to. Bailiff stepped forward, escorting her out as she continued to complain. The doors closed, leaving silence in their wake. Frank stood, addressing the courtroom with a fatherly calm. Compassion is not weakness. Mercy is not guaranteed. You earn it by showing honesty, respect, and humility. When you blame the world, you carry the consequences yourself. David placed a hand on his father's shoulder, and Frank continued. Accountability is the foundation of justice and life itself. The narrator concluded. A humble heart can open any door. A stubborn attitude closes even the ones already open. Today, mercy was given where it was deserved and withheld where it was rejected. Subscribe for more Judge stories. Like, comment, and share if you believe justice is strongest when tempered with compassion.